Fish got it. Fish on. There we go. Oh, that's a decent one, guys. Oh, yes, it's a jumper. Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel here. As I mentioned to you on the last episode, summer is here, and it's great to get all these summer baits out here. That wake bait, I think, did a fantastic job on that last episode. I had a great time catching some fish on the end of the line, but today we're going to go with another bait that is very, very good right around these hot, humid, nasty days. A lot of people think the fish are right along the shoreline. Some are, but most are probably going from the shoreline out into the cooler waters. And we're going to put out a bait right there that should be effective at catching those bass, and hopefully along the way we catch a giant. So stick with us, guys. We're going to cast these baits out here. I'll show them off to you in a couple seconds, and hopefully we can produce maybe on 1, 2, possibly 3 ponds today. We don't know. Just depends on the fish. So stick with me, and let's get to it. We're already on the shoreline. Justin's casting away over there. He's trying to throw into that structure right there, and we're watching the bluegills just dance around on their beds right now. It looks like they're in their spawn or almost finish it. But as I mentioned to you, we're going to try to get some big old bass on the end of the line, so we're going to use some big old baits. Normally we would come out here with some crawls, maybe come out with 4 or 5 inch worms, but today we're going to go much bigger than that. We don't have giant sizes that we could have been able to locate, but today we're going to have a good size one, and hopefully we can get that giant bite. We're going to try to cast way out into the deep, and hopefully those bigger bass are sitting in the cool waters on this hot, muggy day that we're dealing with right now. But we're going to come out with a 10-inch ribbon worm. This is by Zoom. I have the Old Monster South African Special. Justin's got the same make too as well, but that's red shad that he's using on the end of his line. He's getting pegged on these tails here by these little bluegills, but hopefully he gets something nice out of that tree right there, because usually there's 1 or 2 hiding right up in there. But this is a very effective bait in getting big old summer bass on the end of the line. So yeah, if you want to do something a little bit different, this is what you use. Give me a couple seconds, I'll show you how to put it together, and then we'll get that out there and start fishing with it. So on these big old worms right here, as I mentioned to you, they're 10 inches long. You're going to hook these just a tiny little bit different than what you would on your normal worms. Most of the times you take the hook right here, turn it upside down, push the hook into the worm through the center, and you're going to go right to the first bend, and then you would pop it out towards the side of the worm and out. But that's not what's going to happen today. We're going to go ahead and keep pushing the worm up onto the hook right here, and keep going to just about right, almost around the bend right here. And then you're going to pop your hook through, and you can see the shank that's right at the top of the worm right here. You're going to bring the shank down into the body of the worm and then pop it out here where the hook is actually exposed. That way, when you turn it around, and as I draw it through, if you can give me a couple seconds, poking myself pretty good with this hook, but you're going to draw it through that plastic to expose the shank, and we're almost there, and it's popping out just right there. So you can see how the shank of the hook right there is exposed. See how far the hook is down on the worm rather than the top of the worm, because you got to make sure when this fish is swallowing it, you got that hook almost immediately in their mouth as they're sucking it in, because otherwise if you keep it up the top and you go to strike it, you're going to have a lot of misses, and that's not what you want to have, especially when you've got a giant on the end line potentially. So that's what the end result's going to look like right there. And then we're going to bring our weight down there, and then we've got a peg that's right here that I'm going to draw it down to, and that'll keep that weight in place. Got a little too tight there, and that should be a good effective lure to try to catch some giants today. So let's get to it and see if we can get some fish to go ahead and bite up on these big old worms. I'm going to head my way over to the other side of the tree so I'm not crossing my son over there. I'm sure he'll give me a holler if he's got something decent, but I'm curious to see what color works and what kind of cadence we need to use in order to get these fish on the end of the line. Let's get down here and get our first cast out here. While we're casting around here, we're going to use a few cadences here. One is obviously the normal, just kind of jig, 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 let it sit. We're going to drag it across the bottom, and then we're going to have some nice giant big jerks and try to see which retrieve will go ahead and trigger these bass into biting. It's about 10 o'clock right now, so we got about 2 hours till the bewitching time here in Delaware. As I mentioned to you, every single time around noon and 1, that's when the bite kind of just dies right off, man, and nothing is willing to move at that time. And then later on in the afternoon, should pick up once the sun starts setting. Now with these big worms and everything else like that, you're not going to see like real slams and everything else like that. You're kind of going to be watching the left and right motion of the bait. Every once in a while you do get a nice hit off of it, but for the most part it's going to take them a while to get that bait up into their mouth, but they don't want to stay in there too long, so it's getting down to where that hook is at. As a reminder, we always tell everybody here when we're out in these summer days, always hydrate. Bring water with you, keep something in there to keep you hydrated, because it will zap you out real quick here, especially if you're an older gentleman like me. And again, just be aware of your body and know what your limits are, even with the water. Know when to get into shade or air conditioning. Oop, I think that's a fish right there. Fish on, guys. My drag's not. Oh my God, he just threw it. He threw it. I had him, guys, and I didn't have my drag on. That was about a 2-pounder that just leaped out of the air. Or leapt is the word I wanted to say. Hopefully you guys saw that on camera. Dang it. All right, I already know what my issue was. I should have thought about that. It's when I brought this hook through into the worm here, I've got to make sure I bring it outside of the worm so it protrudes, and then buried into the worm itself. That's the reason why I missed that, because this plastic's pretty thick right here, and that's why I didn't come through and hook that fish. But that was pretty cool to see. But at least we know they're willing to bite the big old worm. Since I got my son with me, if I see things that are gonna be able to produce bass, I'm gonna let him get ahead of me so I can let him get the bite. As I mentioned, we don't get out too often because of his schooling and everything else like that, but there's a big bush that's right ahead of us, right before this open spot. And I've been seeing bass blow up right up in front of that bush multiple times here, so I'm gonna give him the chance to go ahead and get that first bite on. Got him? Justin's on. All right, buddy, I knew there was one there. Oh man, that's a nice one, buddy. Take your time, take your time. I knew there was one by there. That's why I let him get over there. Really nice one, buddy. There you go. That's a 3-pounder. Easy. Put it down, bud. Put it down. Wow. That might even bud. Let me see how much that thing weighs in my hand, because we don't have a scale. Man, he's flopping like a crazy fool. But I told you, these big worms put on big bass. Wow. That's what was blowing up right here on that big bush that's right over there. This guy was smashing up on the minnows, and he's still bedding. You can see the red tail right there. But let me get my son to get the worm out of there. We'll get a picture of the bass and send her on her way. But absolutely beautiful. That's 3.5, guys. I'm gonna give it to you, bud. Nice.
Thank you, sir.
Great job. I knew it. I want to say this is shad red. What does it say? These are red shad, the other way around. But you know, they always say, guys, big bait equals big fish. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and let Justin do the honors of releasing it. Make sure it's just nice and flat in the water, bud. Easy release. Right over towards me, bud. Come here. Justin's gonna go ahead and narrate the bass up and give her a nice little send off, and she's gone. Great job, son. Awesome. Boom. So he's back out there casting again. As I mentioned to you, these baits do catch some big bass. That was almost a 4-pounder, 3.5. I'm going to give it to him. That thing had all the girth on it for a possible 4, but we don't have a scale. But an absolute beautiful fish, son. I'm so glad that he got the first big one on for today. But I'm so proud of him, man. He always does a good job when we're out here. Stand corrected by my son here. I thought he threw shallow where I saw all the bass breaking up at. He actually said he cast it out deep. That's where he caught that bass out of. So that's, again, the primary target where we're going to catch these fish is out in those deeper, cooler waters. So thanks for correcting me, bud, so I don't give any misinformation out here. Push past Justin here. Get our way over to the area where the structure's at. Justin's on again. Nice. There we go. Let's run over there. Nice, Justin. Great job, buddy. It's about 1.5 pounds too. He's killing it. Hopefully no bass eats my lineup. But Justin is tearing it up. Boom, look at that one too. Oh, it's 2.5, bud. There you go, show it off to us, man. Great looking fish, son, man. He's doing great today. Bam.
It's a long one.
All right, let's get her off, bud. Here we go. He wants to take a picture real quick, so wait for a second, guys, for the release there. Go ahead and get him aerated, and oh, that fish is ready to go. And she's gone. All right, man, beat the old man today, son. My theory on this pond is I think the fish are done their spawn, because that's the most activity I've seen on this pond in a good long while right here. We got the one I caught over there by those trees out in the middle, and then the two that Justin just got right there. So they are quite active right now, because usually it's like far in between each fish. But I think I was about maybe half an hour's worth of time over that duration of those 3 fish combined. But as I predicted, the fish are out in the deep, just like Justin just told me he caught those 2. But that one that I had was kind of fairly close to the shoreline. But it seems like his color's the go-to color right now. So my approach has been just jigging it, and then Justin's approach is he's just kind of scooting it across the bottom, just like that, and that's where he's getting the bites. So maybe we should just take his cue and try to do that. Oh, fish got it. Sean, there we go. Oh, that's a decent one, guys. Oh, yes, it's a jumper. Yeah. There you go, man. What a great day on this pond so far. Nice. There you go. 2.5, pushing maybe 3. Outstanding. But they're feeding up on those minnows, definitely. Look at the beautiful iridescence on top of that bass. Great looking quality fish today. My goodness gracious. Why do I always get the rambunctious ones? But wow. Great looking fish. Off you go, buddy. I know. Come on. She's gone. There you go, my man. Old man's catching up, son. My son's over there trying to troll me over there. He goes, how'd you catch that, Dad? Dragging it across the bottom? That's exactly how I caught that fish. All right, sometimes you got to follow the youngin's lead. My son, who's down over there on that point right there, he and I had a chuckle because he asked me how I came up with this episode here. And he was barely waking up, and I was sitting on YouTube just kind of killing some time while he got himself situated. Well, the episode was the 5 best baits to use in July, and one of them was very big plastic worms. They were using 15 inchers, but we got a 10 incher right in front of you here, and good thing we bought this bait today because it's proven its worth right now. We've got 3 solid bass on there. We could have had 4 if I would have hooked that first bass right, but we're going to keep going around here, man. There's got to be a giant way bigger than the one that Justin caught here. If not, we're going to go on another pond. So far, we're doing okay with the heat. The sun is going behind some of these clouds and everything, so that kind of gives us a little bit of a break. But let me get this re-rigged back up again. Let's start casting back out and try to get another hit. Fish on. There you go. Another one on. A little dink. All right. Bait is as big as the fish. A little 1/2 pounder, maybe, not even that. But now let's get that fish on the way. Off she goes. All right, so we started off the tree over here and we worked all the way around here to where I'm at right now. I think my son and I, we're getting beat up by the sun right now. We've got a lot of bass on this pond. It's otherwise difficult to get fish on. So we are quite ecstatic that we got that many fish in a short period of time. This pond was the one that was on last week that yielded no fish on the wake bait whatsoever. And this is a good topwater pond. So I'm glad a week's worth of time changes up the dynamics here. And we're gonna probably pop on another pond after we get hydrated and stay cool for a little bit, because this sun is just, it's oppressive right now, guys. Even with the breeze, I'm not kidding you. But even in the heat, you can catch them green beauties. Justin's on. It's a good one. All right, gonna work our way over there. Justin's got another fish on. He's playing with it like it's got some weight on it. My camera died at the most inopportune time, but Justin landed another great looking 2-pounder right here. So he's gonna get the hook out of it and get a quick release before our camera dies again because it's been overheating. But let's drop the rod real quick here. Let's get that out there before that camera dies, buddy. Nice little release towards me. All right, bud, off she goes. As promised, we are on another body of water. My son, he was gracious enough to go ahead and buy his old man a lunch today. And we jumbo sized our water right here because it is way hot out here. And I think our goal on this pond right here is we're gonna get 1 or 2 more and just get back into the coolness. I mean, it's been ridiculously oppressively hot here in Delaware these past few days, and we don't want to sit here and pass out from a heat stroke. But let me get over here in this spot and let my son get ahead of me and get all the prime spots, because it's all about him basically before he leaves. But I'm glad that this episode is turning out to be pretty fruitful with these big ribbon tail baits. Justin and I did our best to try to get a fish on this pond. We went all the way around. Justin had to run to the car because we got a downpour going on right now. This is the lightest compared to what I had to come up underneath of this tree to hide away from, because it was double the amount of rain coming down a second ago, and it's increasing right now as we speak. But I'm glad my son put up an absolute smoke show on these 10-inch ribbon worms. Very effective summer bait. Even though we didn't get anything here, we got a lot on that one pond. It was very hard to catch fish on the last time we were out with that wake bait. But he had the Shad red, I had the South Africa special. But Zoom, guys, always is a very productive plastic to put on the end of the line. Of course, big baits bring in big fish. You saw him catch almost a 4-pounder off that first pond. So I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Look at this crap coming down right now. Give us a thumbs up if you liked the video. Hit that subscribe button. Click that notification bell that will inform of all of our future episodes. Follow us on Instagram at 302 Fishing. Drop a comment below. I'm going to get the heck out of here and hope to get to see you guys next weekend.